An enraged Scarver shot Lohman in the head, then said, "I need more cash," before shooting Lohman's already dead body 2 more times. Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you are doing well. My name is Gabby and today we are going to be talking about the man who put an end to Jeffrey Dahmer. This is the story of Christopher Scarver. The crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, are well known to those with an interest in true crime. But what about the man who killed the killer? Christopher Scarver, the man who killed the Milwaukee Cannibal, was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the 6th of July 1969, the second of 5 children. In his teens, he attended James Madison High School until he dropped out in the 11th grade and was eventually kicked out of the family home by his mother because of behaviour that eventually resulted in alcoholism. However, he managed to get a place in the Wisconsin Conservation Corps training program as a trainee carpenter. But what should have been a step towards him getting his life on track instead led to murder. Scarver was supposedly promised a full-time paid position upon completing the training program by his supervisor Edward Patz. However, before he did so, Patz was dismissed and with him went the promised job offer to Christopher. Following this, Scarver started drinking heavily, and while intoxicated he started hearing voices calling him the chosen one. He would later be diagnosed with schizophrenia and messianic delusions. On the 1st of June 1990, Scarver went to the Wisconsin Conservation Corps offices armed with a .25 caliber semi-automatic pistol and demanded money from the site manager, John Feehan, while holding an employee named Steve Lohman, who had the misfortune of being present at gunpoint. When Feehan gave him $15, an enraged Scarver shot Lohman in the head, then said, "I need more cash," before shooting Lohman's already dead body 2 more times. Feehan wrote Scarver a $3,000 check, then fled outside as Scarver tried to shoot him and missed. Scarver was arrested soon after, the police finding him sat on the stoop of his girlfriend's apartment building. He told the arresting officers that he knew that what he'd done was wrong and had planned on turning himself in. Scarver was convicted of murder in 1992 and sentenced to life in prison, the same year that the far more infamous Dahmer was convicted of his far more numerous crimes. Scarver didn't have anything to do with Dahmer in prison, initially because the cannibal was kept in solitary with his own consent for the first year of his sentence. After Dahmer was transferred to the general population at his request, Scarver did his best to avoid him, being disgusted by his crimes and not wanting to be on the receiving end of Dahmer's sick sense of humour. While Dahmer had claimed to be repentant, according to other inmates, his behaviour indicated that he was anything but. Scarver later stated that Dahmer had a habit of taunting other prisoners by making fake severed limbs out of prison food and ketchup. He would put them in places where people would be, recalled Scarver. He crossed the line with some people, prisoners, prison staff. Some people who are in prison are repentant, but he was not one of them. Between the nature of his crimes and his behaviour in prison, it was only a matter of time until someone attacked Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer had a personal escort of at least 1 guard at all times because of it, but that didn't stop an inmate named Osvaldo Durruti from making an unsuccessful attempt to slash the cannibal's throat with a razor. Although Dahmer avoided serious injury on that occasion, it wouldn't be long before his luck ran out. On the 28th of November 1994, Dahmer was assigned to clean the prison gymnasium alongside 2 other inmates. One was a man named Jesse Anderson, who was serving a life sentence for the murder of his wife. The other was Christopher Scarver. According to Scarver, he hadn't planned on killing Dahmer, but the spirit came upon him right there. He would also claim that he was provoked by either Dahmer or Anderson poking him in the back and the both of them laughing at him. Whatever the trigger for what came next, Scarver followed Dahmer towards a staff locker room after removing a 20-inch 5-pound bar from a piece of exercise equipment. Cornering Dahmer near the locker room, he pulled a newspaper clipping detailing Dahmer's crimes from his pocket. As he later recalled, "I asked him if he had done those things, because I was fiercely disgusted. He was shocked. Yes, he was. He started looking for the door pretty quick. I blocked him." Scarver proceeded to hit Dahmer twice over the head with the 5-pound bar and smashed his head against the wall. According to him, Dahmer seemed to accept his fate and didn't fight back. Once he was done with Dahmer, Scarver crossed the gym, entered another locker room where Anderson was working, and bludgeoned him as well. He then replaced the metal bar on the piece of exercise equipment he'd taken it from, and then calmly returned to his cell. When a guard asked him why he was back so early, he responded, "God told me to do it. You will hear about it on the 6 o'clock news. Jesse Anderson and Jeffrey Dahmer are dead." Although both Dahmer and Anderson were technically alive when the guards got to them, Dahmer was pronounced dead an hour after arriving at the hospital, and Anderson died after being removed from life support 2 days later. When questioned about the killings, Scarver claimed that he was simply submitting to the will of God and that he was simply a tool used by the Spirit. However, there were those who believed that the real motive was connected to the fact that the majority of Dahmer's victims had been black, while Anderson had tried to pin his own murder of his wife on 2 black men. Scarver was quoted as saying that nothing white people do to blacks is just. However, prison officials concluded that there was no evidence that the killings were racially motivated. Scarver initially pleaded insanity regarding the killings, but later changed his plea to no contest in exchange for a transfer to a federal penitentiary. He received 2 additional life sentences for the murders of Jeffrey Dahmer and Jesse Anderson. Scarver later claimed that the absence of guards in the gymnasium that day had been no accident, that he'd been left alone with Dahmer specifically in the hope that he would kill him. However, he refused to elaborate on the grounds of fearing for his own safety. As he put it, "I would need a good attorney to ensure that there would not be any retaliation by Wisconsin officials, or to get me out of any type of retaliatory position they would put me in." In 2004, Scarver brought a federal civil rights suit against officials of the Wisconsin Secure Program facility on the grounds that he'd spent 16 years in solitary following the 1994 killings, which constituted cruel and unusual punishment contrary to his constitutional rights. A district judge dismissed the suit against several defendants and ruled that the remainder hadn't carried out any actions that could be considered unlawful. Scarver unsuccessfully appealed in 2006. A federal court judge, Barbara Crabb, later ordered that about 3 dozen mentally ill patients, including Scarver, be relocated from the Wisconsin facility. Scarver was transferred several times and is currently held at the Centennial Correctional Facility in Colorado. Regarding Scarver's mental health and claims of hearing voices and delusional thoughts, he has been assessed more than 10 times by prison doctors over the years and has his own theories as to the cause of his mental health problems. "Certain foods I eat cause me to have a psychotic break. Bread, refined sugar, those are the main culprits," he said. Scarver has a 27-year-old son who was born after his original conviction and regularly exchanges letters with him. Recently, he started writing poetry and even self-published a book of it via Amazon, God's Seed, Poetry of Christopher J. Scarver. Regardless of what else he has done and will do with his life, Christopher Scarver will always be known first and foremost as the man who killed Jeffrey Dahmer, and the opinions on him having done so will continue to vary from one person to the next. So that was the case of Christopher Scarver, a very troubled man who did a lot of harm to innocent people, but was the one person to put an end to Dahmer after so long. How do you feel about what he did? Let me know in the comments. I know there will be differing opinions from many different people. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. I upload new videos every Monday. But until I see you again, please be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.